You do everything right. You eat your greens, go for walks, and take your vitamins, because that's what they say, isn't it? Take care of your health now, and you'll thank yourself later. But what if I told you that some of those same vitamins, the ones with the fancy labels, gold lids, and words like memory support and heart health, might actually be the reason you've been feeling more tired, more foggy, more unsteady on your feet? What if the very things you trusted to protect you are quietly working against your body, stealing your clarity, raising your blood pressure at night, and silently aging your brain, one pill at a time? It sounds hard to believe. I get it, because I've seen it happen to women who were doing everything by the book. Women who just wanted to feel sharp again, energetic, in control, not just alive, but truly living with confidence and independence. But here's the part no one tells you. After 60, your body changes, and so does the way it handles these miracle supplements. What used to help can now build up in dangerous ways, leading to memory loss, strokes while you sleep, and damage you can't undo. And the worst part? The vitamin industry knows this, but it's not in their interest to tell you. Because confusion keeps you buying, fear keeps you swallowing. But knowledge, that gives you power. The kind of power that lets you protect your brain, your heart, your freedom. So if you've been forgetting names more often, if you felt your energy slipping, or noticed strange little things that just don't feel right, this might be the missing piece no one ever warned you about. And I promise you this, once you understand which vitamins are quietly harming your body, you'll never look at that pill bottle the same way again. Margaret always did everything right. At 73, she was the kind of woman you'd spot in the park walking her golden retriever with purpose, silver hair tucked behind her ears, eyes full of life. She believed in aging with grace, and she lived like someone who still had plans. She took her vitamins every morning without fail, including her daily dose of vitamin D, the one she swore kept her bones strong and her memory sharp. But one quiet morning, she just didn't wake up. A stroke in her sleep. No warning, no goodbye. The tragedy wasn't just the loss, it was knowing it could have been prevented. I still remember the phone call. Her daughter, Karen, was in shock. She was so healthy, she kept repeating. And she was. But no one had checked her vitamin D levels. No one told her that too much of a good thing can quietly turn into a threat. In older adults, excessive vitamin D can cause calcium to build up in the blood, hardening arteries and increasing the risk of stroke, especially at night when blood pressure naturally drops. And if you're trying to stay independent as you age, the last thing you want is something silently stealing your future while you sleep. That's the hard part. It feels like betrayal, doesn't it? You do your best. You try to eat well, move your body, stay sharp. You trust the labels that say immune support or bone health. But here's the truth no one's putting on the bottle. If you're taking high doses of vitamin D without a recent blood test, you might be putting your health at risk. Not out of carelessness, but out of love. That's the painful twist. I've seen it over and over. People trying to do the right thing and unknowingly throwing off their body's natural balance. Healthy aging starts with knowledge, not fear. My own mother used to take a rainbow of pills every morning. She'd sort them by day in a little plastic organizer, like it was a ritual. But she was tired all the time, moody. Her blood pressure kept swinging. We thought it was just aging, until her doctor ran a full panel and saw the overload. I wish we had asked earlier. I wish someone had warned us. That's why I'm telling you now. If your goal is to protect your brain, stay energized, and preserve your freedom, start by getting your levels checked before you add another supplement to the shelf. And listen to your body. It whispers before it screams. If you're feeling oddly fatigued, if your heart races at night, if your balance feels just a little off, don't brush it off. Keep a small notebook by your bed and jot down how you feel in the mornings. It's one of the most powerful tools I recommend to anyone over 60. It helps you stay connected to your body and gives your doctor insight into patterns you might miss. Because aging with vitality isn't just about adding things in. Sometimes it's about taking a closer look at what's already there. Now, don't get me wrong, vitamin D matters. If you live somewhere with long winters or you rarely go outside, your body might need a boost. But there's a safer, more natural way to support it. Try 15 minutes of soft morning sunlight on your arms and legs while sipping tea on the porch. Include foods like wild salmon, egg yolks, and fortified cereals. These small habits can nurture your body without tipping it into overload. And they support healthy aging with intention, not just routine. Still, what shook me most about Margaret wasn't just her story. It was how close it hit to home. She wasn't reckless. She was just doing what so many women do, taking care of themselves the best way they know how. But what if I told you there's another vitamin, one that's marketed as essential for your heart, that could be quietly increasing your risk of brain hemorrhage? It's something even more common and even more hidden. Nancy had always been cautious, organized, careful, thoughtful to a fault. At 68, she took pride in her little daily rituals: morning coffee on the porch, crossword puzzles, evening walks. And she always took her supplements, especially vitamin E. It's good for the heart, she'd say, pouring her soft gels into a tiny ceramic dish. She read that it supported healthy aging and might even protect her brain. But one evening, after standing up from her chair, she suddenly collapsed. Rushed to the ER, the doctors found bleeding in her brain. A hemorrhagic stroke caused, in part, by years of vitamin E excess. Her family was devastated. No one saw it coming. The doctors explained it gently, but clearly, high doses of vitamin E can thin the blood too much. It's like taking a daily aspirin without supervision. It increases the risk of internal bleeding, especially in the brain. And here's the catch: Nancy wasn't reckless. She was following what she thought was good advice. Like many women trying to stay healthy in later life, she trusted the labels that said heart support. But the truth is, those labels rarely mention the risks, especially for women over 60 whose physiology changes in ways most supplements don't account for. I've seen this same pattern too many times. Older adults, especially women, doing all they can to preserve their independence, their clarity, their ability to move through the world on their own terms. And somewhere along the line, someone told them more vitamins equals more protection. But that's a dangerous oversimplification. The body is a delicate balance, especially as we age. Blood that's too thin can turn a simple bump on the head into a crisis. And when it comes to memory loss in old age, a brain hemorrhage is a risk we simply can't afford. Let me tell you something personal. When my Aunt Sylvia had her stroke, it shook the whole family. She was vibrant, funny, and had the best banana bread in the world. But she'd been doubling her vitamin E dose, thinking she was doing herself a favor. She'd read some blog posts about anti-aging and decided to take control. And I get it. We all want to feel like we're doing something proactive. But sometimes what we really need is clarity, not control. The clarity to ask, what does my body really need right now? There are safer ways to care for your heart and brain. First, food first, supplements later. Nuts like almonds and hazelnuts, sunflower seeds, spinach, all rich in vitamin E and easier for your body to process. And always check with your doctor before adding anything new, especially if you're already taking medications like blood thinners. Because staying healthy in your 60s and beyond isn't about stacking pills. It's about finding balance, about trusting your body and working with it, not against it. And if you're worried about your memory, your energy, or how to stay independent as you get older, there are gentler, safer approaches. Simple things like staying hydrated, walking in nature, playing memory games, and eating an anti-inflammatory diet rich in colorful vegetables can do wonders. Sometimes what your brain needs isn't a capsule. It's connection, oxygen, and real nourishment. It's not always exciting advice, I know, but it's what actually works. Still, Nancy's story stayed with me, because she wasn't the only one, and she certainly won't be the last. There's something even more deceptive than vitamin, a common supplement that, in excess, can damage your nervous system over time, slowly, silently, and without any obvious signs, until one day, something important is lost. Carol always prided herself on being sharp. Crossword champion of her senior center, the kind of woman who never forgot a birthday or a detail. At 70, she had more energy than some people half her age. But then things started slipping. First, it was her grip, dropping her keys. Then her balance, stumbling during her morning walks. And worst of all, her words. Sentences she couldn't finish. Her doctor thought it was early signs of neuropathy, maybe even dementia. But the blood work told a different story: dangerously high levels of vitamin B6. It shocked everyone. Vitamin B6? Isn't that supposed to be good for your brain? That's exactly what she thought. Carol had been taking a memory support complex she found online, marketed for cognitive clarity and energy in later life. The label looked harmless, natural, promising, but she was unknowingly taking a dose 10 times higher than the safe upper limit every day for over a year. The damage? Subtle at first, then relentless. It started by stealing her joviality, then her coordination, then her independence, all from a vitamin no one warned her about. What makes this so dangerous is how slowly it creeps in. We expect pain when something's wrong. We expect a signal. But with B6 toxicity, the damage happens deep in the nerves, quietly. The symptoms, tingling hands, wobbly legs, slurred speech, mimic age-related decline. And because it's gradual, most people don't catch it until it's already affecting their lives. That's what happened to Carol. She thought she was doing everything right, eating well, staying active, taking her brain booster. But no one told her that more doesn't always mean better. I've seen this confusion up close. My friend Lisa's mom had something similar. She'd been doubling up on her supplements, thinking it would help her improve her memory. She didn't tell her doctor, thought it was harmless. But she started losing feeling in her fingertips. And then, after a small fall in the kitchen, it all clicked. Turns out she had toxic levels of B6 too. She thought she was doing what was right. And that's the heartbreak of it. These women aren't careless. They're trying to protect themselves. They're just being misled. So here's the deal. B6 is essential, but your body only needs small amounts and the rest gets flushed out. When you take too much, it doesn't make your brain stronger. It damages the very nerves that help you walk, talk, and think clearly. If you're over 60 and taking any kind of supplement labeled nerve support or mental clarity, I urge you, check the dosage. Or better yet, focus on getting your B6 from food, chickpeas, bananas, salmon, and chicken. These nourish without overwhelming. They support healthy aging without causing hidden harm. And always remember this, the absence of pain doesn't mean the absence of danger. Some of the most dangerous shifts in your health don't come with sirens. They come in the form of just feeling off or a little clumsy lately. That's when it's time to ask questions. And that's how you protect your freedom, your clarity, and your sense of self as you age. Because growing older with health isn't about doing more. It's about doing what actually works. But even when you do everything right, eat well, move often, avoid excess, there's still another vitamin that can slip through the cracks. One that's commonly found in fortified foods and multivitamins. One that, in large doses, can raise the pressure inside your skull and leave behind consequences that are hard to reverse. Linda had always been proud of her eyesight. Even at 71, she could read the fine print on prescription bottles without squinting. She took care of herself, ate home-cooked meals, and made it her mission to age with health and grace. She also took a multivitamin every morning, one that promised glowing skin, sharp vision, and immune strength. And it worked, until it didn't. Over the course of a few weeks, Linda began feeling pressure behind her eyes, headaches that wouldn't go away. And eventually, her vision blurred, like looking through water. The cause? An overdose of vitamin A. When her doctor ran tests, the results were clear. Excess vitamin A had caused a buildup of fluid around her brain, what they call intracranial hypertension. A mouthful, sure, but the effects? Devastating. Linda had no idea that her multivitamin, combined with a beauty blend she'd picked up at the pharmacy, had pushed her intake far above safe levels. And here's the thing, this wasn't a rare case. It happens more often than you think, especially in older women trying to stay vibrant, protect their eyesight, and support memory. What makes this so dangerous is the illusion of safety. Vitamins feel gentle, natural, harmless. And vitamin A in particular gets sold as this magical fix for everything from skin aging to night vision. But it stores in fat, and your body doesn't flush it out easily. So day after day, that small dose builds up. And for women over 60 whose metabolism is slower and liver function may change with age, the risk is even higher. When you're trying to age well, the last thing you want is pressure inside your skull, quite literally, threatening your clarity, balance, and peace of mind. I remember when my neighbor Patty went through something similar. She started bumping into furniture, getting dizzy every time she stood up. She thought it was just one of those aging things. Her daughter insisted on a second opinion, and thank goodness she did. Her vitamin A levels were through the roof. It turned out she was taking a skin renewal supplement she'd seen on TV, plus her multivitamin, plus eating liver once a week. No one had warned her about the cumulative effect. She was doing her best, like so many women do, trying to keep her glow while maintaining independence. If you're taking a multivitamin, flip the bottle and look for retinol palmitate or retinol. These forms of vitamin A can accumulate in your system quickly. The safer option? Focus on beta-carotene, found in carrots, sweet potatoes, spinach. Your body only converts what it needs, and the rest passes through. Simple swaps like this can go a long way in protecting not just your vision, but your brain, your balance, and your freedom. And if you've been dealing with unexplained headaches, visual disturbances, or a sense of pressure in your head, don't assume it's just stress. Make a note. Talk to your doctor. Ask about vitamin A levels in your blood. Because maintaining health in your later years means staying curious about what's happening under the surface. It's not about fear, it's about power. The power to act early. The power to choose wisely. The power to keep your story going. And that's the hard part. Because sometimes, what puts you at risk doesn't come in the form of pills or powders. It comes in the form of false confidence. Of health claims printed in gold foil that hide the fine print. That's what happened with another popular vitamin, heart health superstar that ended up sending someone I knew straight to the ER with sky-high blood pressure and a mini stroke. Barbara always read labels. She made smoothies every morning, went on brisk walks with her neighbor, and believed wholeheartedly in the power of nutrition. At 66, she wanted to age with clarity, energy, and most of all, independence. One day at the drugstore, she saw a bottle with bold letters, Heart Health Formula with niacin. It looked clean, modern, science-backed. So she added it to her routine without a second thought. But 2 weeks in, something fell off. She'd wake up drenched in sweat, heart racing, face flushed like she'd been out in the sun too long. And then she fainted. Her husband rushed her to urgent care. Blood pressure all over the place, sky high, then plummeting. The culprit? Niacin. Vitamin B3. Marketed for cholesterol support, yes, but in high doses, it can drastically widen blood vessels, leading to dangerous drops and spikes in blood pressure. For older adults, especially women, these fluctuations can trigger dizziness, falls, and in Barbara's case, a mini stroke. She couldn't believe it. She thought she was helping her heart. Instead, it nearly broke her. And here's what's really frustrating. Niacin is often sold as part of these longevity or cardio cleanse bundles. The labels don't scream danger. They whisper promises. And if you're over 60 and trying to stay youthful, informed, and in control of your health, it's easy to fall into that trap. But when something affects your blood vessels that aggressively, and you're not being monitored by a physician, you're gambling with your brain, your heart, and your balance. Quite literally. I remember a friend of mine, Joan, who started taking niacin after a YouTube video told her it would boost circulation and mental clarity. At first, she felt warm and tingly. Thought it was working. But then came the flushing, the headaches, and a strange heaviness in her chest. She stopped immediately, thank goodness, but not before spending 3 days thinking she was having a panic attack. She wasn't. Her blood pressure was playing ping pong, and her body was sending every signal it could to warn her. If your goal is to age with vitality, stay sharp, and preserve your independence, niacin shouldn't be part of your routine unless prescribed and monitored. If cholesterol is a concern, talk to your doctor about safer strategies, like oats every morning, flax seeds in your smoothie, or even simple walks that get your heart rate up gently. Real solutions grounded in habits, not hype. Because when something promises fast results, it's often skipping over the risks. And don't ignore those small signs. That moment when your face flushes for no reason. That dizzy spell when you get up too fast. That heartbeat that feels just a little off. These are not just old age quirks. They're data. Your body is speaking to you, and you have every right to ask what it's trying to say. Write it down. Track your patterns. Being a healthy woman over 60 doesn't mean ignoring discomfort. It means listening deeper and choosing what honors your future. Barbara's story ended well, thankfully, but she was shaken. She told me, I thought I was buying time. I didn't know I was gambling with it, and those words stuck with me. Because the truth is, sometimes the biggest dangers wear the mask of health. And that's why this conversation isn't really about vitamins. It's about trust, about how you choose to take care of the one thing that carries you through every chapter of your life, your mind. Now that you know the truth hiding behind some of those trusted vitamins, what will you do differently tomorrow morning? Will you still take them without asking questions? Or will you pause and start listening to your body in a whole new way? Because growing older with strength and clarity isn't about how many pills you take. It's about how well you understand your body, how much ownership you claim over your choices, and how fiercely you protect the years still ahead of you. So tell me, have you ever felt like something was off in your routine, even though you were doing everything right? Have you had moments where your memory, energy, or balance surprised you? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear your story. You might be surprised how many women out there are going through the same thing silently. And if this message hit home, if it made you think differently about what it means to age with health, freedom, and peace of mind, then don't keep it to yourself. Hit that subscribe button. Turn on the notifications, because this is just the beginning of what you deserve to know. Your health, your mind, your future. It all starts with one decision: to stay curious, stay informed, and stay in control.